That's the cue, ladies and gentlemen, for NASholes, the podcast where three assholes like to think they know a thing or two about NASCAR, talk about NASCAR. I'm Benny B, joined alongside my very good friends, Drew the Manscar Van and Jeff D. Emergency episode. We have a freaking lawsuit going on.
NASCAR 2! NASCAR 2! NASCAR 2!
Yes, the electric boogaloo, as
Can we
Jeff...
just get a 6-month period where we don't take NASCAR to court?
No. This isn't NASCAR in court.
Well, yeah,
This is an organization and a guy.
So Joe Gibbs Racing...
NASCAR, so it falls under NASCAR.
Yeah, it does.
Joe Gibbs Racing is asking the court for $8 million in damages against Chris Gabehart, alleging that he asked for authority over all racing decisions, was denied, and asked to leave. Then JGR did forensic analysis of Gabehart devices and alleges he synced personal Google Drive with JGR laptop and had photos of JGR setup info in a folder called Spire.
Bro, is he dumb? Is he dumb?
He's stupid.
Okay.
No fucking way.
Okay, there's no allegedly to this anymore.
I just learned the Spire part just now.
Okay, that's funny.
That's fucking insane.
All right,
guys, this is.
Yo, and hang on, wasn't Chris Gabehart? Didn't he just get like a decent position at JGR last season?
He was the competition director.
Yeah,
he moved up.
Why the fuck did he do this? That's like
because
you're a decent position for a really good team. Like why?
So,
and you want to fucking take it to Spire? What the fuck?
So what I take from it,
it's crazy, man. But like, you know what, dude? I'm gonna say something, man. Chris Gabehart, there's always been something for me that's been off about the guy. I always thought that guy was a creep. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but
I never got that, bud.
There was always me. I was just like, dude,
maybe you got a better. You might have a better tell of people than I do, though. I don't know, dude. I was a Bill Cosby fan for the longest time. I was like, oh, dude, come on, it's America's Dad. How bad could he really be? And then you find out he's really fucking bad.
You're like, he didn't really do it.
I think what we all thought was Ty Gibbs got a little too big for his britches and didn't like that Gabehart called out that Ty Gibbs was bad. And when it turns out that Gabehart, and this could be how they're spinning it too. So there's a lot of things in court. So we now know JGR's side. And then there's going to be more discovery that will all come out like it was with the last lawsuit, where we found out some nasty things about both sides. And
things we didn't even think would come out.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, like
flogging.
Richard Childress needs to be flogged. Yeah, please, for the love of God, let something come out that Joe Gibbs was like, we need to go and flog Gabehart.
Yeah, right. Like it's like, oh boy, flogging again.
After I turned a whole new leaf with Joe Gibbs, after finding out what he did for Denny Hamlin's dad at the end, I was like, I have a deep respect for that. That's really great that he did that. And I'm just waiting for something like that to come out, where it's just like, I can't like the guy again.
Is going to come out. The dirtiest laundry is going to come out about both sides.
Oh yeah,
and then it's going to be if it makes it to a jury trial, which right now I think it's going to be. If all of this is even half true, if this is half true, he should settle. Because at this point, and that being said, a jury, anything can happen with a jury. But I think if this is even half true, it's like,
well, I mean,
dude, you're fucked.
I mean, the smoking.
Oh yeah, dude.
The smoking gun for me is just the alleging. Yeah, the Spire file and the whole they're alleging he took photos with his personal phone, which is, by the way, sidebar. That's kind of unsettling that they know that, unless they have security cam footage from his office.
These places have security cams because people are crazy. NASCAR fans are a little crazy.
What?
We are.
Nonsense. Come on, we don't have fans that throw ashes of their recently deceased loved ones at the finish of the Daytona 500.
Didn't even make
that. We did not talk about and we missed, but that
I learned about that yesterday, and I was like, damn, I wish I would have heard about this.
But did not even make it on the track. But I think...
Oh yeah, Vortex. The Vortex fucked them. He covered them in it.
The Vortex. Not the Vortex theory. God damn it. That's my favorite one. I fucking love that meme. It's like the Vortex theory. It's like, okay. Like, that is the only Larry Mack I like. The rest of them, I just want him to be brought on for the Vortex theory, then have someone else do technical stuff. Just anyone else. But it's like, I remember someone saying that it's like, Rodney Childress also brought over SHR stuff to Spire. But no one cared because it was bad. But it was like...
Right, but where's the line then? You know what I mean?
I mean, SHR closed.
Well, no, yeah, I know.
SHR didn't exist anymore. Yes, it's Haas Factory team, but it's still technically a new team.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really the same team anymore. Yeah.
And there's probably certain things in those contracts when, I mean, if that contract is like, yeah, we're done, and they probably had these, like, can I bring it to the new team? I mean, I guess we're going to be competing, but it's like,
well, yeah,
at
there's
that
a
point,
non-compete clause. Like if you can't.
Well, and I wonder too
but-
if maybe what Childers brought over to Spire last year, I wonder if that would have been stuff that he, like his own data that he would have brought up himself or whatever, like, we don't know for certain if it's straight from like
yeah,
SH.
and I don't think he did anything wrong. I think that was just not a match that collided well, and that's all that happened.
Yeah,
this is
I was
just
really
someone probably making a joke, but I think Gabe Hart is in deep shit.
Oh yeah, no, this
is gonna blow up in Spire's face, because Spire already, like, when people started to dig in on Spire, and it was like they're kind of sort of owned by NASCAR a little bit, and they wanted to run that fifth entry or that fourth entry where that was like NASCAR running it. It was like I don't really, and there's certain things that's like, yeah, it's like multiple organizations that are like investment funding, and like I'm fine with that. Like if we want to have equity stakes in the teams, I'm cool with that. That's a great way for the sport to grow. That's kind of what's happening in F1, and look how big they are. But there's rumblings that it's just I don't feel right about for stuff about Spire, and they're a respectable organization, but when you do shit like that, it looks really bad. And I think Spire needs to they need to do damage control, or they need to stay silent. And that is a PR strategy. It is not a good one, let me tell you, as someone with a degree has done all of the PR things. Don't do that. But sometimes it's better to stay silent in some cases. But in this one,
Right,
what they
because you
need to
could
do
slip
is
up.
probably say, hey, so he's going to take time away from the organization and stuff like that. Like, if you want to get in front of this and you want to, like, because at one point does NASCAR have to step in and go, okay, what the fuck? Like, why are the two children bickering?
Yeah.
Like, we can't have this, especially, it's like, it's one thing if it was like a Toyota. This Toyota to Chevy, that's a big no, because I mean, we've already had I think it's like I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. I think there'd be like some slaps on the wrist if it was Toyota to Toyota, because there's still some stuff they want to keep confidential. But like going to another manufacturer, bringing over notes that are not supposed to be seen, especially from a team like JGR. If it was a team like JTG Doherty and he left to go to Legacy, it wouldn't be as big of a story. It's still a big story, but it's like it's not the same magnitude.
The levity of it is
top team to
larger.
Mid-tier team climbing. And if we see that big performance boost from Spire, I think this is a really bad look.
Well, I mean, I guess
the
it
optics
also.
are bad.
Well, I guess what we really don't know is how much of a hand Spire is playing in all this too, because just because he has a file listed as Spire, it doesn't necessarily mean that the team was involved in it too.
That's true. It doesn't mean they're using it.
Yeah, and he might have just been compiling all this stuff to bring to Spire.
However,
so they may. I don't know if they had any knowledge on it. I'm still pretty fresh with all this stuff. I don't know if any.
Yeah, the thing about it, Drew, is that Gibbs Racing says that they only discovered last week that Gabe Hart had plans to work as chief motorsports officer for Spire. And he's kind of over the whole thing. So, like, yeah, we could say, like, they don't necessarily use it, but, like, I mean, he's got a big hand in Spire. So, like, he had a lot of say.
Over there, then, yeah.
So, and think about this, too, with Spire. Like, they've already got the controversial Hocevar, who...
What? Hocevar controversial? Never.
And now they have this on their plate, and like they're a team that kind of seemed like this year they're trying to like really gain something, and then you put this on them, and now all the media is going to do is keep asking the drivers like, "Oh, what do you think about the Gabe Hart situation?" And like it could get them real out of focus, man. Like, yeah, this could end up being super bad for Spire and just even for the rest of the year.
Weirdly enough, though, I don't think this is going to have.
Okay, so hold on. We've been wrong about one thing. He's not officially with Spire yet.
Okay.
But it was probably like, my guess is he's been in the building setting up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how much has he already influenced?
Well, and if JGR knows the specific position, I guess that would mean that Spire would have had to have some sort of communication with them,
There's something, I mean, we don't know. The biggest thing about NASCAR that's different than every sport is we don't know the contracts. We don't know.
Yeah.
And we got a little glimpse at one.
We don't know the money.
With the money. And which I love that part of the sport. It's the most hidden part of the sport. And it's how much do these people make. Because I want to know how much every driver makes. I am nosy. And like, I want to be like, why is this driver paid more than this driver?
There's no shame in that, Jeff. I'm the same exact way. I want to know what these guys are making per year.
I mean, like, I know some of the sponsorship money that goes towards these teams, and it's big fucking money, and some of that goes directly into it all depends on their contract. Like, does the sponsor pay them a salary? Is the team paying them a salary? Are they racing for free? It is all dependent on certain extenuating factors of every there's so many factors in how these contracts are made, and this is a big contract year for many drivers in the sport. Like, NASCAR next year could look drastically different with all the multi-year deals ending. I mean, most of them are like, I know Front Row, they've used driver options and driver and team options many years. Like, it was like a 1-1 and a 1-1, and they just keep adding on a year. If the drivers, like, both of them are like, just want to stay together, and it's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And they just kind of keep going. But now we're seeing those deals into 2030. And I think with the new charter agreement, we're getting those longer term deals. Like, you'll see the Kyle Larsons get a deal.
Hocevar got that.
Yeah, Hocevar, which
for the next decade.
There was no doubt in my mind that there is an exit clause in there for him if there is a higher seat out there. Like, if there could be an exit clause for probably Hendrick. I don't know about Gibbs or say Penske. Like, let's use them for example, because they're clearly like the big three of NASCAR. It's Hendrick, Gibbs, Penske. Those are the big three.
Right. They're very careful about.
Yeah. But like, Chevy probably doesn't want to let him go because of all the stuff he's doing. Like, he runs in all three series. You don't want to let him, and he's such a personality. Whether he's controversial or not, he's bringing him a lot of
attention
money
on your team.
Yeah. And views are huge. And it's eyes to the sponsors, and the sponsors run our sport. That is why the last lawsuit ended. And I think that's why probably something big is going to happen. Because, I mean, I think Spire's probably going to have to make a statement and say, we're no longer pursuing Chris Gabehart. That would be the best thing they could do. And
they pretty much have to, man. They can't just roll with it.
It ends all of the, like, thing. And it's like, we have cut contact. We've been in contact with JGR. We make sure that all info that has been given back. We have not saved it or anything like that. If there hasn't been any info given, be upfront about that. Don't lie about it, because if you lie about it, it will be found out.
Right. They have to cut the ties, because regardless of how much information was given, Gabehart's still tied to Spire at this point.
Well, and I guess too, the other thing is, like, they said they only discovered this last week. So
yeah, JGR discovered last week.
We've all known he's going to Spire. Spire makes these big splashes. That's known for.
Honestly, I had heard nothing about Gabehart leaving JGR.
Sorry, I know things. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I was gonna say, you seem to have a lot of insider knowledge, which I'm very jealous of. Hi, Zylan. So, yeah, I had no clue about Gabehart leaving JGR. To be honest, I didn't see him leaving JGR, because why would you fucking leave one of the best teams?
We all thought it was competition director, and now it's not. And I think, I mean, like, you leave probably one of the best teams, and you go. I mean, obviously, Spire probably offered him a fuck ton of money. I mean, they
do have good investors into the team, so I mean,
Spire is a very wealthy team. It's just you can only go so far in a season progression,
right?
And your drivers can only take you so far. Obviously, Hocevar is probably the best driver on the team, but he's inconsistent.
Yeah,
right now he's too young, and that's okay. McDowell, he's aging. He will get there. He will get there. He will be with the team probably till he retires, and then Suarez is kind of the mystery. Like, McDowell's like that steady veteran that you kind of want on a team to, like, he knows the sport inside and out. You all know he's been here since the dawn of fucking time, and it's like, you gotta have those. You need to have those people on the team, and it's like where younger teams say use Front Row as an example because they have a very young roster. They have all their drivers under 25. That is the stark contrast of having a lot of veterans to a lot of young drivers. Where if you have a 3-driver team, you're going to want probably veteran, young driver, and then whatever that third one is going to be, you just you try to get the best person available. And that's Suarez. I'm not saying that Suarez is a bad driver, but most people would probably look for another driver than Suarez.
Right. He was their best option at that point, I think.
I mean, I think so too, and he brings sponsorship, and that's a big part of it. And Spire, they're always looking for sponsors. That's how they do. That's how the business model is. I mean, they're not always looking like they're not looking for like sponsored driver in like Cup. I mean, obviously they did with Suarez, but like it's not as needed as say their truck team, where they would need a guy to bring a sponsor to run the race. Because they're kind of doing that not for fun. Obviously, you don't just do that for fun. You're doing that as trying to develop a driver, or you're doing it as it's making you money. There's no for fun here anymore in NASCAR. It's a business, and you can have fun in ARCA and go do that in ARCA, but I don't think you just go truck racing just to have fun. I mean, unless you're an old driver and no team owner's doing that.
Well, I think that's what Kyle Busch wants to do at the very end of his career. I think Kyle Busch wants to go down the truck just so he can try and get that truck championship. Which
he'll get it, no question.
Well, I'm not gonna outright say he will, but I think he has a very honest shot at it.
I think any Cup driver of that, a Cup champion, it will always be better than any truck driver.
Yeah,
at a current point. And I think if we put Corey Haim against Kyle Busch, I think it would have been fun. But I think Kyle Busch would have beat him more often than not if it was old KBM equipment, because Spire equipment is not up to where his KBM equipment was when it was in its heyday, because that those trucks were unbeatable. And if they got beat, Kyle had a right to be mad, because it's like, this is the best damn truck on the track. Why the fuck aren't you winning? It's like Force Sport was good because it was really like there were two teams in trucks. It was KBM and Force Sport, and then the rest. And I'm sorry to those teams, but tough.
I think
DGR existed and Nice existed, but they were just small, and they had a couple good races here and there, but like day in and day out, it was KBM or Thorsport, and those were the winners during that time.
I think all of this that we're saying right now really kind of might segue into what we were going to talk about next, which is the whole tweet that Freddie Kraft put out. Let me just read it here.
Yeah, why don't we go through them all, actually? Because he's posted a few of them. Yeah.
Well, I have this one, so if you have the other ones, but I'll read this one because I had this one pull up. I didn't realize there was other ones, but
yeah, I can try and pull up.
So he said, since everyone keeps mentioning him, I guess I'm going to piss you guys off even more. Then it's on to Atlanta. Late model, ARCA, truck, O'Reilly, Cup. If there was a race today, Cody Ware would outrun Cletus in all of them. And I don't think it would be particularly close.
I agree.
I saw your comment on there, Jeff.
I agree. I don't like to agree. There are days where I think I could beat Cody Ware. Dude's ass. But a bottom tier Cup driver is better than a part-timer.
Come on.
It's
of course he would. It's rage bait.
It is. But I get what he's saying. He could have said it in a nicer way, but I don't think that's his identity as a person.
It's not his MO, man.
And I think that's another story for another day. And I have respect for him. He's in the industry. He's done this for a long time. He's gotten multiple wins. But it's there are better ways to say things, especially for the draw that Cletus brings to the sport. And I don't I will die on the hill of I think Cletus needs to run a full-time season. I get that you have other ambitions, but if you want to run in these top series, you need to put more effort in. And it's if you don't run a full season, run a majority of the season, not just select races, not select super speedways, the big tracks. I want to run Charlotte, I want to run Daytona, I want to run Talladega. That's really cool.
Yeah, you can't just run the hardest tracks. That's not going to do you any favors.
It's not even the hardest tracks. It's just the biggest tracks, and those are the ones where you just put your fucking foot down. Those are because the ARCA cars they have a bubble of draft. It's a lot different than Cup, where you have to play with the throttle a lot. In ARCA, you're just fucking foot floor, and then they're stuck like this. It's they can't. There's a big air bubble. If they touch each other, they're idiots.
And you can't.
It's very difficult to get a solid push in ARCA unless it's on a restart. It's just how those cars are built, how the skew in them is. They're designed to turn left. It is so beautifully awful and beautiful. There are so many things that need to happen, and this all is part of the Natalie Decker situation of unqualified drivers.
Yeah.
And I propose a fix. This is my fix that I have asked people in the industry. I'm what would you think about this? Do you think this would fix problems? I know it's going to create some, but I think it will fix some, and obviously there's case by case basis on a lot of drivers. But if we're just talking about regular John Smith, John Smith is driver A. He wants to join NASCAR. I don't think there should be a high barrier of entry for ARCA. I think, yeah, you should run a NASCAR test and make sure you don't hit the wall. Make sure you're not a fucking danger to the. Yeah, can you turn left? Can you go fast and not hit wall while turning left? Can you hold a line? Can you do basic things? And I think there should be some sort of thing there that's like a unified thing. I mean, you do that. All right, John Smith. And he's like, well, I want to run trucks. It's like, hold on. Do you have any experience? If like outside of racing, like say Connor Zilic, he had Max Mazda racing experience. I think that's equivalent to at least some sort of that's equivalent to some sort of racing. Where I'd say, okay, dependent on that, I'd say, yeah, so you did a lot of road courses. I'm fine with you doing road courses in Xfinity or something, or O'Reilly's now, but it was Xfinity when he joined. So it was different things like that. So I say, okay, John Smith, let's hold your horses on trucks. I know that you might have a sponsor that wants to do this, but let's do a full season of ARCA. If you can win in that full season of ARCA, you can instantly go to truck. I'm fine with that. If you show that amount of talent, great. But if not, I want you to run a full season of ARCA. And if you can finish every race of that season and not DNF and stuff like that, that's great. We will move you up to trucks next year. If not, you are going to stay in ARCA until you can finish that amount of races. Say the ARCA schedule is 20 races. I forget what their official schedule is. Let's say it's 20 races.
It's
you
20,
need to finish 20 races. If you cannot do that in one season, no matter if it's your fault or not, you should not run.
Well, I think saying you have to complete all 20 races in an ARCA race,
not just 20 races total. If you want to do that over the span of 3 seasons, that's fine. But before you go to truck. I'm going to say in a span of 3 seasons, can you complete the full schedule? Even if it's not every track, can you complete all the races on, like, can you complete a number of races?
And can you finish at least top 20?
I think that equipment's a thing, but can you show something? Like, just show that you're not a fucking danger to people. If you're wrecking in most of your races, if you have to take 40 races to even finish 20, there's a problem here, and maybe we should have a talk and say maybe NASCAR isn't for you. But if you do 25 races and you finish 20 of them, yeah, you should move up. I fully think you're ready. But if you win in one of those races, I'm fine with saying, hey, this kid might have some potential. John Smith is ready for trucks. And my rule with trucks would be the same exact thing. In 3 years, can you do the 25 race schedule or 25 races in trucks before you're ready for that? And doing all of those. And the ARCA races will count towards some of that allotment. That's something I'd workshop more. But if you have a ton of that, it might cover a few bases. And so you would have a smaller section of that to do within that 3-year time period. It's not like a super license thing, because I hate fucking license points and how the FIA does it, because it hates other series. And yes, I think we should prioritize stock car racing. But if we want to get other people in, if we have an F1 driver or a former F1 driver that wants to race Cup, yeah, they've raced at one of the top motorsports. They should be able to do that. But if we have John Smith,
I don't know. I mean, just because they're an F1 champion doesn't mean they can handle a stock car, though. Because open wheel and stock car,
obviously they need to pass a NASCAR test and make sure they're not like an idiot.
Well, I mean, okay. The example for this that I'm thinking of is Helio Castroneves. Because, like,
okay, that was an age problem, in my opinion.
I don't think that was age. I just think he went to the top of the food chain in a vehicle that he's got little to no experience in.
He also started a team, so it was like big eyes, but that's another problem that I want to talk about too. But continue.
Yeah, well, yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Just because they're a champion or they've won a bunch of big races in a different level of motorsports, maybe that doesn't. We shouldn't just give them the pass, because I mean, look what Helio did last year. He wrecked twice. It was in a duel, and then I think in the regular race, and granted, maybe they weren't necessarily his fault. I can't recall, but in hindsight, it's kind of batshit insane, that we just did that, and
it's a lot. It's the problem now, from what I know and from talking to people saying it's pay to play. If you have a lot of money, you will get pushed right through.
That is a big problem.
Yeah. If you are a certain demographic of thing, if you are a Natalie Decker, you're going to get pushed through faster than John Smith will, because John Smith might only have 10 grand and he can go do that test, but he may not be able to run more races, where certain people will get a little bit more leeway to do those higher rungs. And we have the most women in our field that we've ever had, and then they all get in the same round. And it's like, there's no point. And it's not saying that women drivers are bad. I think Catherine Legg was in over her head in that first race that she did in Cup.
Yeah, no, she had no business. Has no business in Cup.
And in later races, after she got more experience in the lower series, then people are like, okay, wait, she's staying out of this. She's staying out of the way. She's doing the right thing. She's finishing the races. She's not in wrecks. This is a good thing. And so we need to put
if it's like
drivers
that,
in a place to succeed. Like, I don't think Catherine Legg should have been instantly in Cup. I think that was a problem.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
I think with what her experience was, I say starting her in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series would have been fine. And I think she would have done okay, and just tell her, don't fucking wreck. Like, we need to tell these drivers, don't go out there and win. Don't wreck. Prove to us that you deserve
just drive
to be
safe
here.
and like clean.
Drive safe. Don't ruin other drivers' days, because you're not a full-time driver. These people are racing for championship points. Get that your team is racing for that, but we also need to get with these teams and go, all right, if you want to bring in these drivers, we need to have a sit down with them and be like, you guys cannot disrupt the flow of the series. Like I know it's a developmental league. Like, you can't buy your way into AA in baseball. You can buy your way into AA
right, you have
in
to
the truck
earn
series
your way.
in NASCAR. It's pay to win, and that's a problem. And yes, we have sponsorship, and that's a big part of NASCAR, and that will never go away. And it shouldn't go away, or else the sport will fail. Because the TV money isn't enough. We need the sponsors to keep the doors on these shops and pay the employees and keep this sport growing. Because if we stop growing, it's a very bad thing. Because our viewership numbers are very strong, and I think that is a proponent of having these drivers like Cletus. I don't think he was ready for that race. I think truck shouldn't have a huge barrier of entry, but it should have a barrier of entry. ARCA shouldn't have a large one. Truck should have a small one. O'Reilly Auto Parts should have at least a medium-high one, and Cup should be elite tier drivers only. Yeah. And if you're not if you're an O'Reilly Auto Parts driver and you're not winning races, that's one thing. Like Anthony Alfredo, he's not winning races, but in most races, he's keeping his car clean and he's outrunning where he is. Sometimes he gets involved in wrecks. Sometimes they're his fault. Sometimes they're not. But when he goes up into, I don't think it was ready when he was in the 38. Flat out, don't think he was. I was like, we're signing who? And it's like, I like that he has Dude Wipes. That's a funny sponsor. But he was one of the main reasons why McDowell was really slow near the end of the year, because he wrecked a fuck ton. And I like Alfredo, and I'm glad that he's better now, because obviously he just needed more time to cook. Like, the sponsors come with this big briefcase of money, and you say, oh, dollar signs. And you don't think about the consequences of the later if they keep wrecking your car. Because eventually...
Well, I guess, too, I mean, some teams might also be in a situation where they can't turn down that type of money as well.
Yeah, and I get that, too.
You know, so, because, well, I don't know who the hell was stupid enough to field Natalie Decker, but...
that was Joey Gase with Scott Olstein.
Cool. So,
Joey,
so it's a team that
team is struggling.
It's a team that doesn't get a whole lot of sponsorship, so... Yeah, I mean,
I get it.
Yeah, so it makes sense why they'd have to...
It's not that they don't give a damn penny. It's that they can't afford...
They were kind of in a corner to where they're like, if we're going to make this race, we kind of need to have this driver because she's the only one that has the money.
They tried to have 3 drivers enter the race. They got 1 in. Somehow it was Natalie Decker of all drivers. But
dude, that's got to be
that might have been on owner points. I think that might have been on owner points. Like, they pushed that through. I'm not sure what it was. I didn't look at the official timing.
Maybe NASCAR's scared of the Decker goons out there who would get up their ass if she didn't make the race.
The problem, there are problems with the system that I think NASCAR needs to fix, and I'm glad that even though Kraft said it in a very bad way, in my opinion, there are better ways to go about it. And I'm all for guns blazing. There are certain issues that I will go guns blazing on. But I don't think that he should have went guns blazing on someone that brings tons of eyes to the sport. And when he did the ARCA race, he really didn't do that bad. Yeah, he didn't perform as great as we all hoped he would. And in the truck race, at least he didn't take out other trucks. If he took out other trucks, this would be a very different
conversation. He took himself out.
He took himself out, and it's like, okay, he's laughing about it. It's like, Yeah, it sucks for Nice because now they have nice, fun repair bill. And that sucks for the people working in the shop. Good luck, boys, and girls. But it's frustrating to me because I want this sport to grow and we need those eyes, and it's like we need to have a certain way. Like, I'm not saying my perfect system is my system is
right, like that. It would
it's not
100% work.
and no system would work, but what we have now does. And I think
Right.
there need to be certain changes, and we need to stop with the favoritism just because we see dollar signs. I think we need to be like, okay, we need to get this sponsor in the sport. Maybe not with that driver, and that's
I
a
think
little
that's the key,
wrong
man.
to
It's
say.
the sponsors,
but it's like,
man. It's not the driver as much as it is the sponsors. If the driver can bring some sponsors, like Cletus probably can, that's really good. And we're already
Cletus will
seeing
never
that
have an
this
issue
sport
with
is growing.
sponsorship.
Like, we saw, like, the Daytona 500. There was so many people there, man. Like, and I talked
Sold
about
out
it on
again.
the last episode. There was a guy that said, yeah, my parents have been coming here forever. And, like, they said this is the largest crowd they've ever seen at Daytona. Like,
That's amazing.
that's what it's all about. And so,
well, I also do want to say, while I was looking at Freddie Kraft's Twitter here before we kind of veered off that, the Daytona viewership was released a few hours ago, and we got 7.4 million viewers, which is a 11% jump over the 2025 Daytona 500 numbers.
That's awesome.
So,
that's
and
awesome.
then it says here we outscored every non-prime Winter Olympics window on broadcasting cable, and we topped all broadcasting cable networks in viewership during the race from 2:15 to 5:45 p.m. Eastern
Man, I
time.
feel like that's something we have not heard about in a while.
And we got the key demographic too. And at least the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. I'm not sure about if they released that for Cup, but I know we got that in the O'Reilly Auto Parts, and that's the demo that we need to go after. Because the unfortunate truth about our fan base is it's very old, and our old fans will not be here in 20 years. I mean, some of them might, but the vast majority won't. We're going to be here in 20 years, hopefully. We're all in our 20s, maybe early 30s, I don't know how old you are.
I'm 55, actually. I don't know what you're talking about. My expiration date is soon, dude.
Yeah, nice.
I'm not long for this world.
I'm coming for you.
Jeff gets all my Chase Elliott gear when I die.
But yeah, like you were saying, it was the way that Kraft said it. It's like, he's not really wrong. Like, Ware definitely, I mean, sure, he's really only good for, like, cautions and lap traffic, but, like, he would outperform Cletus.
Oh, dude, I love that callback you just did.
Like, I think Cody Ware's
Jeff, you don't understand the fucking god tier callback Ben just pulled off, dude. Last year I said all Cody Ware's good for is cautions and lap traffic.
No, but here's the thing, and this is what my buddy Jeremy... This is what my buddy Jeremy Carnett said, and he's like been a big Cletus fan even before he started kind of watching our podcast, getting into NASCAR. Like, he's been a huge fan of Cletus's YouTube channel, and he was telling me, like, Cletus racing in ARCA doesn't make any sense, like, full time, because why would he? He makes $20 million a year on revenue just off of YouTube, and that's without his merch and his events at Freedom Factory.
Yep.
Well,
so
and
there's
and
really
that's kind
no
of the
gain
point
for
that I
him
brought up on our last episode too, where I was like,
you're right there, and I think you think that's true. But it's like I think he needs to run more ARCA. I don't think a full-time schedule's right.
I'd love to see him improve and be in this sport.
I would too. I think there are levels that you need to dedicate to this sport, because if you want to improve in the sport, you need to dedicate yourself. The drivers that are full-time in truck, like if we take a look, I'm trying not to use FRM as an example, but those are the drivers that are always forefront of the mind. Lane Riggs, forefront of, like, he's doing this, like, he's pushing it, and he's 100% dialed in. He works in the shop, he's working on the trucks, and he's doing all of the stuff, and he's full send in NASCAR. Where you look at other drivers where they might have other ambitions outside of it, and that's great. I'm happy that you have those, but you're not going to be, and if you don't want to go cup racing, that's fine. If you want to be an O'Reilly lifer, or if you want to be a truck lifer, that is okay. You can make a living there. Matt Crafton did that, and he was bro might make the Hall of Fame just off of being
damn good,
amazing in trucks.
Well, he won a championship by winning 0 races one year. So
that is cool. The legendary status.
As much as I don't really care for the guy, I will say that's pretty impressive.
I mean, the truck series feels weird without him, because he was there forever in that 88 Menards truck. And yes, the Menards is still on the 88, but it is not driven by the same driver. And that's part of our sport where it evolves. And that's every sport. Like, Tom Brady's no longer in the NFL, right? And it's the NFL felt different. I mean, we have Patrick Mahomes, but it's not the same NFL as 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a lot like when Tony Stewart left Joe Gibbs and then Joey Logano went into the 20. You know, we were still seeing that number 20 Home Depot, but it was like, it took a little while to get used to that not being Tony Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah. And those things are, it's difficult to adjust because it's like seeing a jersey number of a player you loved. Like whenever I see the number 54 on the Patriots, I think of Dante Hightower. My dad thinks of Teddy Bruschi, and those are the things. And when you see 50 on the field, you think of Vrabel. When you see 51, there's Mayo, but plenty of other players have worn 51 since then. It's you think of all those different things. Yes, you're laughing at me. Okay.
No, I was laughing at a joke that he said.
No, you said 51. I was like Cole Trickle from Days of Thunder.
Oh God.
It went right over your head. And I was laughing
because I didn't hear it.
No, but yeah, like the sport's changing, and like we had an older demographic, and like they're used to what they want and whatever, and they're trying to adapt to it now. And like, you know, we're getting younger fans who are, you know, wanting to get into it. Like, and a guy like Cletus is a guy that a lot of people like, a lot of younger guys like, younger gals. And so really there needs to be a fine line between, you know, getting the talent right and getting people that are going to bring in the viewership.
Yeah. And I think what NASCAR should do right now in regards to Cletus, like, all right, I'll concede that. Well, I already conceded that he was probably in over his head in trucks, but you know, like still bringing him in for engagement for like, you know, O'Reilly or Cup, that would do wonders for the sport. I mean, shit. They had him do a cameo in that new NASCAR promotion video that they released earlier.
Hell yeah, that's right.
Yeah, hell yeah, yeah. You know, and him and Hocevar just launching fireworks off the Dale truck.
I mean, that's
doing
that's
donuts and whatnot.
Like what he needs to be there for.
Yeah, and he doesn't really need to participate in the race as much as I love seeing the guy on track. You know, and
let him on a couple miles.
As pissed off as Freddie Kraft made me, he was right. He was in over his head, but he also shit all over him a lot, and then got ratioed into fucking oblivion.
Yes,
and then tried walking it back
earlier. I see that. I'm gonna have to look at that later.
Oh yeah, no. Go to the comment section. All it is people being like, "You shit on him, you got shit on back, and now you're trying to walk it back." And that's exactly what he's doing right now. I can't blame him because he kind of shot himself in the foot by, shooting all over Cletus and getting information wrong, which is rich coming from me because I'm almost positive I've said incorrect facts about drivers on this show before.
So. And the sponsorship, I mean, we're gonna have drivers that come with sponsorship, and that's fine. And we need to have drivers in the sport, and we need to have drivers that are bringing sponsorship. But there needs to be a better way of going about having these fields not having wreck fests. Like, I love a good wreck fest once in a while, don't get me wrong. But like there were some truck races where it reached, and it's typically trucks. There are some O'Reilly Auto Parts like Martinsville last year. That was bad.
Oh yeah,
that was bad. I was like, what terrible. Are we doing? I'm like, I honestly wanted to go out there and go and just start whacking people. I'm like, you guys are dumb. Stop being stupid. Like trucks, that's happened plenty of times where they just don't know how to turn left anymore. It's like, guys, you turn left and you don't hit another truck. It's not that hard. I get that we're going for their win here, but you're driving in 27th. You're not going to get the first. I get that those points are important to you, but let's not destroy a race truck. And there was a very important conversation, like when they sat down with those truck drivers, it worked. Like they fixed their shit last year. There was not many races where I was like, what are we doing out here? Where I had that more in the O'Reilly Auto Parts series because that series seemed a lot younger and a lot more inexperienced. But it got overshadowed by Zilich and his amazing year, and no one really paid attention to that. And I mean, Corey Heim was dominating, but you still had the B story of Lane Riggs and other great truck races. Like the truck races overall were very good last year, and you didn't have those what are we doing moments where when Hocevar was coming up through that, you had those moments where like this dude's intentionally wrecking himself so we can get a caution so we can get back on the lead lap. Like, what are we doing? It's inflicting the races.
Yeah.
You don't see that as much now in the truck races, and I just want good racing. Is that too much to ask? I think it is.
I think it is. Yeah.
I want there to be. I hate this priority of certain drivers over others. I mean, obviously that's going to happen. I mean, if you get a big marketing potential with Cletus, if you got a big marketing potential with Cletus to use it, do it, but do it smart and do it in a way that it's not going to destroy other teams' race trucks, unless you're paying for it. Like, if you're paying for it, fuck it, I don't give a shit. But
yeah,
we need to be smarter about this.
Yeah, and I think having him, maybe race, some more ARCA races over the next year or two, get him some more experience, then let him back into trucks.
Yeah, I would be fully down with that.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, and one thing I will say is, Cletus himself has kind of been taking all the controversy in like a pretty good stride too. He seems to not let it get to him, which unless he's just trying to project that it's not, and he's secretly crumbling internally, like I probably would.
Hope not, but I don't think he is. I think he's fine.
Well, yeah, I think. Well, I'm not remembering this verbatim, but pretty much, I remember he shared the DBC clip of Freddie Kraft shitting all over him, and then he was like it or not, I'm here to stay. And then he also commented on the video saying, like, the criticism only just motivates me to get better.
And that's great. I want him to get better. I think everyone in the sport wants him to get better. My dad was like, "Who the hell is this Cletus guy? And why is he named Cletus?" And I'm like, "Dad,
well, it's really Garrett.
It's not for you.
His real name's Garrett Mitchell."
And I explained that, like, but it's not for you. It's for the younger generation like myself.
It's not for you.
It's not for you. It's not. He's in his 60s.
Sure.
And he's a boomer. But it's like, and I'm like, I'm watching this race with him, and I'm like, and then when he ranked, and he's like, "Oh, there goes Cletus." I'm like, I ate shit there. But it's like, but I'm like, it's for the younger generation. Like, we're trying to, and it worked. It brought a lot of, and are we saying there are new fans that came to the NASCAR race? We had no way to tell on that because the Truck Series, not everyone has that.
Well, that and like people on social media saying that, how do we know that's just not like a fake account? Or whatever. I don't
know. The numbers seem accurate, especially if they're coming from if they're coming from the networks. They're accurate because the PR will put it out.
Well, no. I was just saying, just people on social media claiming that they're new fans of the sport. Like, how do we know that it's just not a bullshit account?
I mean, that's true. I mean, I think that either way, it brought eyes to the Truck Series.
Yeah, I do think a lot of people did come.
You had two big factors. You had Smoke and Cletus. Those were two
Travis
big
Pastrana
factors
as well, which is
that is also
one of the trifecta that actually finished though too as well.
Yeah, that's really funny too.
Yeah, nobody talks about Travis, dude.
Yeah, right.
But he also has experience in stock car racing.
He does, so, and that's why I'm.
Well, he ran an entire Xfinity schedule for a year or two, right?
He did.
Yeah,
for Roush, he didn't do well, but
no,
he did that. But it's like. You have it, and like he had motorsports experience, and that's why it's like, let's get these people. You have motorsport experience. I don't consider Crown Vics doing that. That's not like top tier motorsport experience. I think it's really fun.
That's
but it's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
The only thing he's driven too, though. I mean, he's got a bunch of other high speed vehicles that he drives. I'm not trying to just sound like I'm defending.
Has he driven late models? I feel like he has.
I don't think so. Has
maybe. I mean, shit. I know Dale Jr. was saying he would love to have him in Cars Tour races, which I think would be an awesome spot for him.
That'd be great. That's more experience. Seat time is everything, and we need to get. That's why I'm full for bushwhacking. Like, I want full bushwhacking back. Like, I was so thrilled with the decision NASCAR made to let younger drivers run pretty much the entire regular seasons and then expand the races that other drivers could run, because that's why those drivers were so good. Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, all of those drivers, and Tony Stewart, they ran full-time schedules. Carl Edwards too. They ran like full-time schedules at Matt Kenseth. Like, they ran full-time schedules in the other series of Waldman Cup, and then they gave other drivers chances when they couldn't be at those certain races. They had those 2 or 3 races where they wouldn't be there. And it proved that if you were a full-timer in that series and you beat them, you deserve to be in Cup. Like, no, bar none. That's why David Gilliland got his shot. I mean, did they probably do something illegal to that 84 car? Yes. But I mean, they were literally pulled aside and said, "Don't ever do that again. But we can't take this away from you," because at that point there was no precedent set. Where that's a whole story that we could do a whole hour on. But
I just found that Cletus he's done stadium, super trucks, and drag racing. So that's all I could find.
But that's still seat time.
It's not nothing.
AC. It's not nothing, and that's great. Yeah. It's not it's John Smith off the street running in a truck race. I do think Cletus has his place. I think in time it will be the Truck Series. and I hope that one day he can run that 500. But I want him to go through the rungs of NASCAR before I don't want him to just jump trucks to Cup. I don't think that will happen. I don't think any team is gutsy enough to do that.
Well, and I think he understands too
I
that
think now
going
he does too.
Well, no, like a year ago, he went on the Dale Jr. download and he was kind of talking about how him and Biff started kind of getting him on this road to NASCAR. And he said it all started because he was like, I want to run the Daytona 500. And Greg Biffle was like, yeah, you can't go to the very top right off the bat. But he's like, let's get you started in ARCA and then, work your way up. So, and he straight up said, he was like, yeah, no, I mean, it's like, going into ARCA he was like it's a whole other animal. So and I think I think he understood that maybe going to truck might have been a bit of a jump, but I guess at the same time too, how are you also going to get more seat time on these tracks as well? Because
so here's another thought that I just remembered. I remember things, but
lucky I never do.
But what I see is I was looking at Brayton Laster. He's been a driver. He's kind of been like mid-pack to back of the pack of ARCA, but he's run clean races. He's run a while, and he finally just got approved for truck racing. It's like, but then other drivers just get approved like that, and I think that's part of what also spurred this conversation because I saw that and I was like, ooh, I got thing monkey brain go burr. Monkey banana. But it's like
scratching your fucking pits.
Yeah, right. We're so fucking dumb. But it's like I look at that and I go, why is a driver that's run full time not eligible already? Like, and it took him. He's like, and the money it took for that, and it's like, shouldn't that kind of just, if you're running an ARCA and you've run a full season and you're doing okay, and you've run multiple seasons, even just piece together schedule over those years, and then you run that full season and you do all right, there's no reason why you shouldn't just be approved for the next step, unless you're like ass, like Decker levels of ass.
Well,
not the physical ass, but
do you? So, honest question here: do you think she's going to make more extended O'Reilly starts?
She is slated to make a few more starts this year.
Okay, do you think those are still on the table, or after this whole big?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The PR, the sponsors probably are eating this shit up.
Eating it up.
Because it's just free airtime for their brand.
True. That's
I mean,
true.
I forgot that part. You know what you're getting into with these drivers, right? Like, there's no way that this just happened and it's like, crap, PR disaster for my brand. No one, like, people are noticing the brand. It was Witch Hazel that was on the car, and that just like gets rid of acne, I think. I think I used it once when I had a breakout when I was in middle school. But it was like, like that's all I remember. Mother was like, "I'm getting you Witch Hazel." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, and it smelled awful.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I'm not gonna go there. For me, there's tons of airtime for that, and it's Denny Hamlin. He talked about it. It's like either bring me a checkered flag or wreck the car. And it's like, you know what? At that point, I kind of get it, but it's also like, I don't think Decker. We need to have a cognitive test. And I think a couple of drivers would fail. I'm not saying who, because I think we'd all be shocked by some of them, because they're just poor test takers. But
I won't say my exact comments on Natalie Decker, but I've told you my honest thoughts on her.
I think she's absolutely stupid.
Well, I think
no wonder it fucking hurt. You were traveling at like half speed. You were traveling over 100 miles an hour and you hit a fucking car. Yeah, it's gonna hurt, bitch. Sorry.
What if we had her on the pod, dude? Then Drew would be like, "I love you."
No, I would. I've said this before. If we ever got a driver I've shit on the pod, I would immediately shill for them. I'm not shameless in it. Straight up, dude.
Drew's not afraid. He's not ashamed to admit that.
Nah, dude. I'm a very complex person, and I'm always very open about that. And I've straight up said in the past, as much as I've shit on Ty Gibbs, all he would have to do is go, "Hey, Drew, I think your comedy is really funny, dude." And I'd be like, "Oh, dude, you're like the best driver ever." Like that is verbatim what will happen.
Pod, bro. You're like, you're definitely the best driver ever.
If you somehow ever convince a front row guy to make an appearance on this show in the future,
I'll do it. I'll try.
Well, I mean,
I might be able to get a figure guy here or there.
Oh, that'd be cool too.
If I go to Tampa and if that all lines up correctly, I will ask, and they're probably just gonna roll their eyes and go, "No, Jeff," and I'll go, "Okay." And
I like to
"Thank you."
imagine Todd Gilliland, especially after hearing your story of how he greeted you last time. I feel as if he would probably get on both knees, open his mouth, and then go, "Yes, master," and then.
No, my God.
Anyways, no, I don't think it'd be that far. His wife might get a little jealous.
No, but it's
No,
they're good people over there.
No,
It just depends on if their PR team wants to go on a podcast. God,
I would chill for whoever to fuck out on this podcast. I'm shameless about it, and it would just because it'd probably be
a lifelong
the first
fan, like Die Hard. I feel like.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I said it before. I mean, Chase Elliott's my guy. For really, it's two reasons. It's because he's the only driver I've met in person, but it's also because in 2020, that was the year I was dealing with all my spinal cord injury shit, and I was like, all right, I'm going to watch NASCAR again, getting back into it. And I was like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to pick Chase because it was just a low-hanging fruit thing. And then he went on to win the championship in arguably one of the hardest years of my life. So that, that's...
Now I understand why you like Chase Elliott. And I hate him just ever so much less. I mean, I don't hate him. I just dislike when he wins because he's pretty bland.
No, I mean, you're not wrong about that.
Bro,
it was a great race.
White bread I had this morning for breakfast that wasn't even toasted, just pure white bread, had more flavor than anything Chase Elliott has ever done.
Well, I will say this. I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but I actually delayed a weight loss surgery to meet Chase Elliott.
Yes, you did. You talked about that. Yeah.
And then
That's
I was like,
and he told him.
Yeah, I deadass told him, I was like, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, man, but I delayed a super important surgery to meet you. And I think he was just like, well, I hope it's not like life threatening. And I was like, no, don't worry, Chase. It's not. I'm just fat as fuck, as you can see, and then I was like, do you still drink Mountain Dew? No, I didn't ask that. That was actually, I was going to ask him that. But then I got hit with the nerves because I was like, oh, fuck, it's actually someone I like everybody I usually like are historical figures and they're all dead or in prison. But
no, dude, the first time I met David Gillen, I was like it even got retweeted by now. I can't find the tweet because it was it's so old, but it's little me going. So I was in awe because I was probably the only fan that he saw that day too.
So, but there's one aspect of the Chase story that I've never told anybody, mostly because it was just fucking odd. But when I was rolling on up to meet him, the HR dude from Hendrick asked for my phone, and then I think he was just trying to make a joke, and he was like, oh, how do you work this thing? And I stopped and I looked at him and I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now?
Did he
I was like, you don't have an iPhone? And he was like, no, I'm messing with you. And I was like, okay, dude, it threw me for a fucking loop because I was just trying to, I was just being like, okay, you gotta fucking don't crack your voice or anything, don't look like a pussy in front of Chase Elliott. And this dude's like, how do you work this thing? And I'm like, what the fuck?
What are you talking about?
I was like, our guys.
Dude, I think he was just trying. I think he saw how nervous I was and was trying to help.
The ice,
it didn't work.
They're just normal people.
Yeah, we're well past our half-hour emergency episode.
Oh yeah,
marker. So
I guess we're having fun, boys.
I guess that's really all I have to say with everything that's come out today with Gabehart.
Money problem. That's what I gotta say.
Fix the money and Chris Gabehart, you are screwed, buddy.
The last thing I want to say. The last thing I guess I do want to say, I wanted to mention this earlier and I forgot to, but it would be really great if we could go back to the days where a sponsor would go to races, find a specific driver, and just latch onto them, and and have it be like shit. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head right now, but I remember just hearing stories from I guess 70s up to probably the 10s, where sponsors were in their contract, it's they're that driver for that car, and if you swap them out, you pretty much make the contract null and void. We don't have that anymore, and a lot of the sponsors that are linked to drivers are all usually just family corporations, which is why we have this problem where it's people who are
business to business. It's all about that's probably 60% of the sponsors in the sport. And that's and that might be a little underselling it, but
yeah,
I think it's about 60. And I mean,
that sounds
a lot of
about
those
right.
sponsors. So,
But yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we could just, it'd be great if sponsors would just go find a driver that they see a lot of potential and go back to it. But I also understand too, the world's a different place from back in the day when they were doing all that. Like the world's just it's a different place from the 70s to the 10s. So I mean, I think that would be a big help in the whole daddy's wallet drivers. Maybe kind of working them out of the sport if they're not deserving of the seat. Like if they're if they're like a Natalie Decker, where they're just showing that all they're doing is failing.
Chris Wright.
Yeah, that too. Oh, hang on. John West.
One of the guys I know crewed for him, and he said that was the worst year of crewing in my entire life.
I was gonna say, does anybody remember John West Townley?
It's a fun one. On that note,
Ben,
boys,
Ben, you didn't react to that, so you need to do some homework on John West Townley, dude. Once you know all that, you're gonna be like, oh, that was a fucking gnarly burn.
I'll type it in on Google right now.
But anyways, yeah, we should probably wrap up the episode here, guys.
Yes. All right. Guys, thank you for another episode. We're sorry that this emergency episode went so long, but we had a great time doing it. And you guys can follow us on X at NASholespod. On Instagram, we are active on the Instagrams. It is NASholes_podcast. And as always, we have TikTok, NASholes.podcast. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We will talk to you guys after Atlanta, unless there's another emergency, which I hope not.
It's gonna be after Atlanta.
I was gonna say, and as always, guys, what do I always say at the very end? Be like Biff.
Be like Biff.
Be like Biff.